Now, normally I don't roll up in here because I'm not about this life, the life I'm about to share with you. Normally I will not roll up in here, just crack open the mic and start spewing lava and just try to say a bunch of crazy bleep just to get you to react, just to get your attention, just to get you to look at me. Not my brand. Not my brand at all. That's liquid magma that you hear. That's lava. You can get that pretty much everywhere else. That's the currency of pretty much everybody else. Not us. We're different. I don't need that. I don't want that. I don't like that. That's not happening. However, everybody can make a rule to an exception, even a standard. Now, I know the standard is the standard, so there shouldn't be exceptions. Today, I will make an exception to our non-lava brand. So, what that means is, I've given you fair warning. What you need to do is do what you have to do. Get out your heat shield. Get out your, I don't know, welding helmet. Get out your heat safety goggles. Whatever you need to protect you from the fire that I'm about to breathe. You've been warned. Here it comes. Are you ready for it? Here is your hot take. No. Here is your straight fire. No. Here is your lava. Ready? It's coming in 3, 2, 1, and mark. Tyrese Haliburton is not overrated. Tell me how my ass tastes. How you like me now? I'll say it again. Tyrese Haliburton is not overrated. Yeah, I know. I know what you're thinking. Easy there, Van Smack. Put that magma down.
Put that coffee down.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am actually willing to die on this hill. This is the hill that I'm willing to die on. You know that whole phrase, I'm not dying on that hill, or I'm dying on this hill. My man is not overrated. In fact, not only is Hallie not overrated, saying he's overrated is starting to look like the worst take since Wells tried to tell us that Shohei was overrated. Except that was just Wells, not an anonymous poll of NBA players. And of course, Wells paid the ultimate price for that horrible take by getting his ass run right out the jungle. The jackwagon NBA players who tried to label this dude overrated are just straight up skating right now. No accountability, no responsibility, nobody put their name to it at all. And the crazy thing about this whole overrated conversation, not only is Haliburton not overrated, he might actually be underrated at this point. I'm serious. At least judging by these playoffs and by the utterly spectacular performance last night. Because did that dude look last night like an actual third-team All-NBA player? Because that's what he is. I mean, are we sure about the third team for this dude? There are actually two teams, two full teams, full of players better than this guy. Doubt that? Doubt that. Why do I say that? 32 points, 15 dimes, 12 boards, 4 steals in arguably the biggest game of the year so far. And, oh yeah, no turnovers. This dude straight dominated that game. More than that, he pushed the ball all game. He dictated the tempo, and we know they like tempo. He was aggressive, and he attacked all night long from the very jump. He never even turned it over. But he did score 32. He did dish out 15 dimes. He did rip 12 boards, and he did swipe 4 steals. I mean, incredible. Incredible doesn't even do it justice. It's historic is what it is. Historic because nobody in playoff history has ever gone 30, 15, 10, and without a turnover. And just to elaborate on his underrated greatness, check out this stat. That was his, it's amazing. That was his 11th career game with 15 plus assists and no turnovers. The only dudes in NBA history with more are Chris Paul and John Stockton. Stockton played 19 seasons. Paul is in his 20th season. Howie is in season number 5. So it's not a stretch to say that he's already up there in the company of some of the all-time greats, especially after this postseason, because not only is he doing it, he's doing it in the playoffs. All right? It might have been his best game of the playoffs. Hell, that might have been the best game of his life, but it's not like it was some kind of crazy outlier performance either. He's already sent the Bucks home. He's already gotten away with doing the big balls celebration against Cleveland. Didn't even get fined for it. Probably because it's true. And, of course, hey, how do you find a guy for doing something that's true? Not even ears could deny it. Not even Powder. What was Powder going to say? Wait, he doesn't? He doesn't? Find him for what? Telling the truth? And, of course, he already hit the Knicks with that epic choke sign. Think about that for a minute. Let that marinate, as the kids like to say. This dude already hit the Knicks with one of the most insulting gestures possible. You know, we always talk about a reason to go. For a Knick fan, that's a reason to go. That's a reason to choke. I mean, literally, wrap up on somebody's throat. It's one of the most insulting gestures possible if you're a Knick fan, yet he did it. And it's insulting because consider the history of these two teams. They hate each other. Considering Reggie Miller, who a lot of people hate right now, but back then, just Knicks fans really hated that guy. But he did it, Howie, even before game 1 was even over, right? It looked really bad. Like, what are you doing, dude? You had a foot on the line. Maybe you don't want to wrap up on your own throat like that. Except then he just went out there and he backed it up casually in OT. And then he's gone on and he's backed it up the entire series. Even though that choke sign had to be incredible motivation for the Knicks, they still couldn't choke him out. This dude. And I'm just happy that Papa Haliburton got to see it in person last night. You knew that was an X factor, right? I don't think it's a real coinky-dink that Pops was back in the house and Junior had one of the greatest games ever. It's just smart that they didn't let Pops sit courtside because who knows what the hell would have happened at the end of that game if that dude was chilling under the hoop. Can you imagine if you think Papa was excited to get in Giannis's face after the first round elimination game? I can't even fathom how many F-bombs would have been thrown in every Knicks face after that historic triple-double.
This is what we do. This is what we effing do.
Can you imagine if that was the take after they knocked out the Bucks in the first round? What would the take be like after his kid just did something that's never been done in the history of the NBA? In the biggest game of his life. You want to talk about karma. Let's talk karma for a minute. And not just the karma that you know that I'm going to go to, the jungle karma, although the Pacers have got a ton of that, man. It's coming out their ears. They're riding some of the best jungle karma ever. I'm just talking about regular old karma. Just basic old karma. Regular old karma for Knick fan who thought that it was funny to throw trash at that dude in the Howie jersey. Look at this guy just kind of walking away, hands out, like, I'm not escalating. I don't want your trouble. I don't want any trouble. You know what that is? That's a dude who's smart. That's a dude saying, I don't want any trouble. And that's Knick fans saying, yeah, well, you're going to get some trouble. Like, this guy knows how to play that game publicly. He's not escalating. He's letting everybody know, I don't want any problems. The Knick fans saying, oh, you've got problems. Yeah, well, now look. Sweet, poetic justice of them getting absolutely fried by Howie. The dude minding his own business in the Howie jersey. And then what happens? Howie to the rescue. And over and over and over again, frying the Knicks. I mean, it's too perfect. Especially since this dude in the Haliburton jersey was in the house last night. He was there. Check him out. Look at this dude. Good dude. In the house. This dude walks away with an autographed jersey from Howie and an invite into Howie's house and a hero's welcome and the last laugh. Would you look at this dude? That's how you handle that, Howie. And this. Of course, the dude happens to be a New York firefighter. Of course. Well done, Knick fan. Because that dude hadn't sacrificed enough for your city. Yeah, you don't look stupid at all right now, Knick fan. Throwing garbage on a guy who works the front line. For you. And all for what? Because he wanted to rep his team? That wasn't your team? Pff, what a bad look, Knick fan. It's all a bad look right now. Everything is just coming up Pacers. If it wasn't for Cat losing his mind in the fourth quarter of Game 3, this series would already be over. And it would be Knicks in 4, Knicks in 4, except 0-4. It would have been a sweep. You know, everything is working when even meowing at Cat works. As goofy and as obvious as that is. I mean, I thought those free throw merchant chants in Minnesota were cringe. But the Pacers actually had a fan meowing at a cat, the cat, at the line last night. I don't know what's more painful, the idea or the fact that it actually worked.
Anthony Towns at the line now for number 8 and 9. So your two main guys continuing to be aggressive.
Who knew Bella's cat was a Pacer fan?
Meow. Thank you for taking Meow call again. Meow. Bella.
Tough night all around for Cat. Cat, not that cat, not Bella's cat. Karl Anthony Towns, the other cat, the 7-foot cat. He had a knee-to-knee collision towards the end of the game. Came back in, but looked pretty beat up. And now we're not sure about his status for the next game. Also, a tough night for Jalen Brunson. Even though he scored 31, and he got off fast, man. That first quarter, he and Tyrese were going back and forth. But he ends up with 31. However, it's deceiving because he had only 2 points on 3 shots in the fourth quarter. Obviously, Brunson scoring 2 points and taking only 3 shots in the fourth quarter of that game is not the winning formula for the Knicks. Hard to see a winning formula, actually, for the Knicks at this point. I mean, as fun as this run has been, it just seems like they're running out of gas, they're running out of ideas, and the Pacers are just getting stronger. They're just getting better. I said that I couldn't see the Knicks winning 4 out of 5 in this series when they went down 2-0. Just like I can't see them winning 3 out of 4 now that they're down 3-1. They have run into a better team, a better player, and no offense, Tibbs, but a better coach. Rick Carlisle, and yes, I'm slightly biased. I love Rick Carlisle, but he deserves all the run and all the love he's getting right now because he never gets enough anyway. He should always get more than he gets, but it's never been more apparent and more obvious right now that this dude is a hell of a coach. He is. He really is. He's getting the most out of Howie. He's got Siakam cooking. Even Mathurin finally came off the bench and made a big difference last night. I mean, they can beat you in so many different ways. The point guard is playing out of his mind. They're deep. They're mean. They play with a lot of energy. They'll pick up defense, full court. They're hungry. They play with tempo. They're just better. How about that? They are just better. Better than every team in the East, at least. And they do have that jungle karma, and they have regular karma, and that's kind of hard to beat when you have both forms of karma. Looking very clear right now that they're about to ride all that karma, jungle and regular, right into the NBA Finals. For the first time. Love to see it. Love to see it. And you know me, I'm not here to hate on New York. I'm just here to keep them accountable. Looking good. What an idiotic take. Tyrese Haliburton, most overrated player in the NBA. And again, not voted on by talking heads or morons behind mics or media people. His peers. NBA players, those who should know, those who play the game, said this guy is the most overrated player in the league. Not only that, it was actually the worst and best thing that could have happened. The worst thing to everybody who voted, especially those who have to play against him, and the best thing that could happen to the Pacers. Man, my man just took that right into the veins, like rocket fuel. You know he loved it. You know the Pacers loved it. They're like, oh yeah, let's go. Give us more. Tell us how much he sucks so we can put it up on the bulletin board and feed it to the guy intravenously. What an amazing game. No turnovers? And then how many times did the Knicks turn it over last night themselves? And how badly did that hurt them? Incredible game.